Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide. Today we are checking out a Vekkia, the name doesn't matter. It's actually a LED clip-on book reading lamp, which is meant for books, but it is well designed and well made, and it actually can be used for non-lit e-note and e-paper devices such as the remarkable Supernote or the Quirekogic Papyr. Quick clarification, nobody sent me this device, I just went on Amazon and purchased it for myself to test it out and present it to you guys, because I know that this is something that can be useful to the majority of users of these types of tablets. So technically speaking, the sponsor for this video is you guys who are actually supporting the channel, and your support means a lot. If you do like what I do and you want to see me being able to actually purchase even more devices like this and put them up on the channel to review them and not wait for the company to send a review unit sample, etc., well, then you can definitely check out the mydeepguide/shop, and you will see that My Daily Organizer 2023 has just came out, so you can check that out, and you can check out the links in the description down below if you want to see and learn more about the My Daily Organizer. All right, that out of the way. Now let's see what this front light is like. All right, so the one that I got is called Vekkia 2 LED bookmark rechargeable reading light. Ordered it from Amazon, and it's something that I'm kind of interested in. Comes in this kind of rather shoddy looking package, and you get the light. This is just foam and an instruction manual. All right, so these are the contents, basically, instruction manual and the light itself. All right, so here it is. It looks kind of interesting. Let me just zoom out a little bit so that you can see the whole thing, and a bit more. And there we go. Okay, we're good. So you have your clamp here, nice and adjustable rubbery material here. Not so much rubbery here, but it's nothing that will actually scratch anything, so that's okay. You can adjust the height or take it all together out. All right, if you seem to do the same thing that I did, which is just pull it all the way out, you have to kind of grab just underneath here to lift this up, right? And then insert this one with the electronic side up, so like this, and then just slide it in, so then it just works like that. All right, so you can adjust the height. You can quite easily pull it all the way out. That happened very easily. Here we obviously have our light. This is your power switch, because this is the thing that turns on your light. So this is a warm light, cold light, and combined light. And then turn it off. So you can adjust the intensity as well. It looks like it. So if I have it turned on, okay, and then I press and hold, yeah, it goes in intensity, and then I press and hold, it goes way down in intensity. So that's actually quite nice, and I guess you can do that for either one of them. So those are the operations that you have. And because it is a rechargeable battery, well, it's like, where do you charge it? Well, here, this is the USB. You can see the USB icon here. So this you actually plug into a USB port directly, and yeah, just make sure that you have the correct orientation, and then you'll see the light will be glowing red when it is charging. Now this whole thing is bendable, and it can retain its position. So you have quite a lot of control here, and it's a fairly comprehensive functionality of a simple thing like this. It's a little clunky, but I do kind of like it. So let's put it onto a device and see how does that look like. All right, so here I have fairly dark conditions, as you can see, fixed aperture and exposure on the camera. So, and the only light that you're seeing here is actually from the computer screen in front of it, and here's the light. So first I'm going to just simply clamp it on. Okay, so it clamps on, it seems fairly stable and good. I'm just gonna bend it around so that it's a little bit at an angle. So let's say maybe something like this. All right, and let's see if I turn it on. Okay, so this is the first attempt. So let's make it a little bit taller so that we get, cover a bit more of a surface. Let's adjust. So this would be warm light. This is the cold light. The power button is not as responsive, and this is the combined light. Well, I prefer, and of course off. I do prefer the warm light, and let's see the intensity. So I'm just gonna press and hold. As I said, the power button is a little wonky, very much so not responsive. So there we go, now it's getting brighter. Okay, so this is at its brightest, and it's really, really good. I do have a glare, so let me try and capture it. There, that's the type of glare that you will see under certain angles, but you can adjust it in different ways. So the height will definitely help. Something that's kind of important, I think, at least for me, is that if you're going to have it at such a higher intensity, to kind of bend it in such a way that you don't see the actual light, and then it works. But I do get a glare. No matter what I do for a usable kind of angle, I will always get a little bit of a glare here. However, it does make it extremely readable, and definitely changes the usability of a non-front lit device completely. So let's see at full intensity blue light. Oh, it actually remembers, it remembers the intensity levels of blue light, cold light, and combined light. That's very interesting. All right, so let's now adjust the intensity to the lowest. Okay, so that's lowest. Let's see how dim does it get. Okay, so it gets to be very, very dim. Let's see the blue light at the highest intensity. So this is lowest intensity. This is at its highest intensity. And then we're gonna go to combined, lowest intensity. Highest intensity, both of them. It does give a very pleasing kind of light. It's very intense. It's actually quite strong. It's not something that I would use at this intensity, but it helps with the clarity of reading everything apart that obvious glare. Now maybe we can do something like this, for example, and now that's Indie that you hear in the background. And now that glare is actually here where my user interface is, and I don't really mind it at all. Furthermore, it's not really catching my eye that much, so because of the slightly slanted angle. And this is a far better option for me, and this is something that I really like because the glare is now displaced from the center of the screen. So let's see, and this is the combined one, and this works very nice. So I really love how flexible it is. This is fairly strong, it stays very nicely, and the clamp is nicely padded on this side, and on the other side it's nothing abrasive or anything that's gonna kind of hurt your device. But if you're worried about it, you could put a little felt tip if you want to. That's not a problem at all. So the clamp, I think, really works well and is a good one. So let's try out the Supernote, for example, and see how does it fare on a different device. And here is the same lamp clamped onto the Supernote A5X. It holds on normally, and there's plenty of room here, so you can actually clamp it down nicely without it pressing on the screen, so you still can keep it on the edge of the device, because we definitely would not recommend that you put this onto the screen, so just on the edge of the device. The glare is of course present here as well, because it's a reflective surface. But let's see if we can do the same thing here. Yep, you just move it a little bit to the side and it stays really well. And now I can just continue using the whole thing normally. So yes, Supernote is not really happy with this document. It's quite a large document, but okay. So yeah, it works definitely on both of the devices. It lights them up very nicely and it makes it a really cool thing. What I'm really interested in is the Supernote's half-page mode. So if I turn it to a half-page view, well, this works also extremely well, except that here have a much wider surface, and then you can actually mount it right up there. Now, at this point, it comes really into play, the obvious lag that you don't have rotation control on the Supernote, because it would have been nice to be able to actually kind of flip it upside down for those who might want to have it like that. But this seems to be working just fine, and it's actually really out of the way. It doesn't really intrude with interaction at all. It's comfortable to actually hold, and this wider surface, it's here, really lends itself nicely to kind of displace the patch here. And I guess you could do the same thing on the remote. No, you can't, because there's no landscape mode, and there's no real landscape mode. But yeah, so that's basically it, and this works really cool. So yeah, I think that this is a winner for me. This is something that definitely works and I can use quite easily. Well, okay, so this is actually quite good. How did I find out about it? I think I saw somebody sometime recommend one of the similar ones on one of the Facebook groups. I know it's vague, I really don't remember, it was a long time ago. So basically the way it works is if I see something, then I'll open up a tab, and then that tab will just kind of stay for a while until I get to it. And at this time I got to it and said like, okay, let's try it out. The negatives, while I do understand the USB charging thing, I've never seen anything like that before, and I have to say that it's a little bit impractical, because you gotta kind of move around and it's not really that good. I mean, if you're using a laptop, then it's fine, but if you're trying to use it for a charger or something like that, then it's just a little bit weird. So, but it works. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. The other thing that I'm not too sure about is that the power button seems a little bit flimsy, and I'm not entirely certain how long that's gonna last, because even now it's like, oh, did you press it or not? It doesn't register every single press. So those are the things that I would actually like to see that they were a little bit better. Other than that, well, for the money, it's actually quite an okay product, and for me it works. I love the width, I love that it's diffused, that the light is diffused, so you don't have sharp reflections on the screen, on the surface, on the bottom. It's really flexible, it has intensity control, very good intensity control, it has memory for each of the different LEDs or LED types or light types that you want. So it's actually a surprising amount of functionality out of a simple device like this, and it definitely beats a standard clip-on that you just kind of put in, turn it on, and then you kind of try and see this. So this is a good clip-on light alternative that somebody might want to try out and check out for their remarkable Supernote, Quirekogic Papyr, and devices like that that are not front lit. I've been using it now for a little over a week, or maybe 10 days, something like that. Hasn't failed. As I mentioned, the only two things are the USB thing. It's just a little bit unusual, or maybe impractical. Not so impractical, just unusual. And the power button is not as responsive as I would like it to be. We'll see how it actually fares over an extended period of time. But for now, seems to be working quite good. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye.